Alright, in the bottom right corner spawning as the blue Terran. Korean player under the name of Percival. And in the top left spawning as the purple Protoss. It is Creator. It's one of the matches from Olimoleague between Creator and Percival. Creator, of course, a player that we've watched before. You should be familiar with him if you've been watching StarCraft for the past 10 years. Played for Generic Greenwings for a very long time. Some good results early in 2012, 2011. Wings of Liberty is one of the better players and kind of fell off through Heart of the Swarm. And now making a little bit of a comeback. Still not at all at the level where he used to be, as he used to be definitely a top 3 Protoss player. But right now he is, I don't even want to say a top 10 or top 15 Protoss. So a long way to go still to get back to the level where he once used to be. And Percival is one of the new up-and-coming Terran players in Korea. I don't know a lot about him. I've played him once on the ladder. That's it. Seemed good, but nothing too special. So maybe a 3rd tier or 2nd tier Terran in Korea. Probably 3rd tier Terran in Korea. So you have an SCV scout coming out of Percival as well as a barracks first, meaning he will go from the Reaper into the Marine. We have the core first opening here coming out of Creator, who will be following this up with a Nexus, trying to deny that command center for as long as possible. Let's get up to 50 minerals before that command center manages to go down. Here comes the SCV that was chasing away the scout, comes back home, and here's the other SCV that was scouting for Percival, also coming back home. So all the SCVs do return back home. No proxies on this map. No bunkers behind minerals line. We saw Creator check for it. Very popular at the moment, those behind the mineral line proxies. Now the second pylon is in the main base. This usually indicates some kind of Stargate play. He's also mining a lot of gas, a lot of workers in that gas. Opening up with a Stalker though might ruin the plans of getting a very fast Stargate. So we'll see exactly what's going to happen here. Adapt into Stargate it is. So very common when that second pylon is in the main base, of course, to get a Stargate, because you don't want to show that Stargate, but by not having the second pylon downstairs, you're kind of giving it away. Another reason why usually with Robo and Twilight openers, where you always see that second pylon on the low ground, is to create a wall with that second pylon immediately with your second and third gateway. If you do that with your third pylon, you'll need to cut some probes in order for it to be on time. Now we have Creator just staying at home with that Adept, with that Stalker. This is an odd build order. So this is one of those build orders that only makes sense if you're playing against Stalker first. So usually whenever we see a Reactor Hellion, it always comes from either a gas first or a barracks first into Marine. This makes the timing of the first 2 Hellions popping around the 3-minute mark, 302, 303, something like that. Now, if you play it from barracks first Reaper into Marine, you see the Hellion timing is 20 seconds later. So objectively, this is just a worse build order. But the reason why it's kind of okay against Stalker first is because your opponent can't get any information on what's being built. So as a reaction, it can be okay against Stalker first. And you see Creator doesn't have a wall, is kind of out of position. He does have a single Phoenix already, and he does have 3 gate units, so he should be kind of okay. You see a lift on the full HP Hellion here, as the other Hellion will continue running into the main base. Probably will get 1 or 2 workers. Maybe these bad boys will fall. Might be able to get 1 more shot off. Yes, 1 will fall, and a second one will fall as well. Clears up the 2 Hellions and a Reaper, so overall pretty good trade here for Creator, who does get his Stargate scouted. So this was kind of the goal of the 2 Hellions. I don't think Percival imagined the Hellions to do massive amounts of damage, but 2 workers is very little. I think he wanted 4 to 5 workers, would have been really nice. On a very good day you get that. 3 workers on a more standard day perhaps. Does manage to of course spot out the Phoenixes, and as a response we'll get a Cyclone. Position his Marines a little bit defensively. Good mine hit there. It's cool to see random mines around the map obviously, and Creator's trying to maybe catch that mine eventually. Does go in for the scout, sees the second barracks being built. Is he aware yet of the 3rd CC? This is big. Yeah, okay. So the moment you see, as a Protoss, hey, there's a 3rd CC, you can basically continue worker production all the way throughout. Now, Liberator gets caught. That's actually kind of expensive. Liberators are really expensive, and we'll see in the units lost tab right now, 600 against 100. in favor of Creator. So good start for Creator, who should just be chronoing out probes. Yeah, there we go. This is the correct call. You don't really need units. Wouldn't be surprised to even see a second forge in this case. Or even straight Robo Bay. Yeah, I really like this. I think this is a good call. Getting straight Robo Bay after scouting triple CC. You can basically get as greedy as you want, because there's no way you're going to get pushed. He scouted the fast second barracks as well, which means that most likely there won't be like a tank, a Viking kind of follow-up. So very good read here by Creator, who is going to position himself in a very comfortable spot, honestly. He's moving forward with the Stalkers, knowing that Stim is delayed. He's not very afraid to get caught by like Stim Marines. He should be afraid to get caught by these Cyclones though. And Cyclones are moving in, will be able to pick off 2 Stalkers, but at what cost, you might ask, as there is 4 Phoenixes heading into the main base. So it's going to trade out some units for, I guess, 3-4 SCVs. Also loses a Phoenix though to the mine. So, I mean, 2 Stalkers and a Phoenix against 2 SCVs, not really worth it. You're gonna ask me. We have our first Colossi on the way. Creator still in a fine position, but evening up that unit loss tab right now. This is basically going to be an even game at this point, right? Even upgrades. Well, 1-1 is being started for Percival, only +1 for Creator. Should be adding a second forge kinda soonish, I wanna say, as Creator spots the complete lack of medevac so far, and I mean, in the near future there won't be any medevacs. So first push will most likely arrive, if it will, at around the 740 mark, I want to say, maybe 750 even, as medevacs take 30 seconds to build, so we'll finish at about 720. And I mean, Creator should be aware of all those timings, right? He could be considering to get a 4th base already, but I wouldn't mind seeing a second forge before that 4th base. When you see a Terran playing something like a 3cc, you always know you're gonna have a lot of time, and then the follow-up scout with the observer tells you exactly how much time you will have by the medevac timing. Of course, you can see how many like when are the first medevacs gonna hit and when can he arrive at my base. Because of that, my Creator having a little bit of a mystery that he's keeping the Phoenix at home. Would love to see him do some general harassment on this 3rd base, try to catch a couple of mules perhaps. You have this observer in a very good location on top of this pillar. We'll be able to spot these Marines moving to the left side. Not sure what they're gonna do there. This Zealot, what Creator has good map vision, right? He sees all the edges, has some vision in the middle with Zealots, with this observer. We'll be able to figure out where to position his army precisely. I don't like that this part of the army is split up already. That doesn't seem to make a lot of sense. And right now he's actually losing a lot of his vision by pulling away those Phoenixes. There's no observer in this general area, so this is a little bit gambly here for Creator, who still has a Phoenix here, even though he already has vision with these 2 pylons. 2 Marines are stimming into the natural. We'll try to target down some probes. No, we'll instead go for this Zealot. Well, that won't work. And here we have a trick by Percival, who pretends he's moving into the 3rd, but really wanted to move into the natural. Creator, of course, very experienced player, is aware of what kind of tricks Terran can pull, and has his army split into groups. Now, what's the follow-up here for Percival? We see that the armory is finished. 2-2 hasn't started yet though, so a little bit delayed with the upgrades. We see no second upgrade here yet either for Creator, and no second forge. So in my opinion, this could have been a really powerful 2-2 timing if Percival would have gone for a faster 2-2 upgrades. Instead we see him heading into that enhanced shockwave, into those extra Viking second starport. So he will be going for a faster push, but I think it would have been better to go for a later push with 2-2 upgrades, and perhaps he could have been fighting against just a +1 Protoss, really. Or maybe a 1-1 Protoss, being up 2 upgrades with Vikings, with enhanced shockwave against just Colossus Viking. Could have been very good. Instead, we're gonna see Percival most likely push out the moment the enhanced shockwave will finish up. How many medevacs is there on the map? There's 4 medevacs straight into Viking production. There's 3 Colossi though and 5 Phoenixes, so I don't really see a way for Percival to break this. Colossi will just be able to stay alive. 60 Marauders might be able to help out, but there's also 2 Immortals and there's a lot of Zealots. Charge has finished. Upgrades are slightly in favor right now of Percival, of course. 1-1 for Percival against just the +1 armor of Creator. Let's see what the setup here is for Creator. Gets EMP'd immediately on top of that Immortal. Couple of Archon shields falling, but this is just 2 little Vikings. I feel like Archons are putting in a lot of work. 2 Colossi in the back, dishing out a lot of damage as well. And good kiting back here by Percival, but his army was just too small. You're gonna need a bigger Viking count. Usually the rule is you want about 3 Vikings per Colossi. You had about 1 Viking per Colossi, and that wasn't even accounting that there's 5 Phoenixes as well. Basically for every Phoenix you want to add maybe 1 or 1.5 extra Vikings. So you're gonna end up with a count of maybe 15, 16 Vikings against this army, and he had 4. That's 25% of the count that he wanted. Now, the fight still went kind of okay because he hit a lot of his EMPs, but his army is very bruised right now. His medevacs are very bruised. They're out of energy. There's only 2 medevacs that have some energy, and 2-2 is halfway done. I feel like waiting for a 2-2 and a higher Viking count definitely would have been the play, as we see a transition into Liberators right now, which honestly is a wise call. I'm not sure if Percival already spotted the Disruptors, but against Disruptors, Liberators definitely are the correct answer. As with Vikings, well, Vikings only shoot up, and to kill Disruptors you need something that also can shoot down, and Liberators is the ultimate down shooting unit, of course. Single drop heading towards, well, I assume to be the natural base. There is a cannon there, there's a couple of Phoenixes, keeping track of everything that comes in and tries to get out of here. And they see this medevac, most likely will fly away with the Phoenix. And it's like, alright, you have been spotted, time to return back to the main army. Percival remains active on the map though, with small forces trying to maybe deny a potential 5th base over here, trying to poke forward. Should be a little bit careful though. Blink isn't done yet, but of course Percival is not aware of that. Now we'll be trying to sneak into what I guess to be the natural base. Yeah, won't really work though. Loses a couple of Marines for that. Might get a Zealot in return, so even trades all around. And this seems to be the trigger that Creator needed to move out. He's trying to clear the map very systematically, make sure that there's no run-bys, no drops happening on his side of the map. He still has a large portion of his army here, so I don't think he can quite fight into this. Now, of course, the Liberator army is not one that can really jump on top of the Protoss army. But there's still a bunch of Vikings, so has to be careful with his Colossi. Has to be careful with his big Archon count as well against any kind of EMPs. Drop of Percival is heading finally into that natural, but the cannon with the battery and the Phoenix will be able to just clear this up. The secondary army should be joining up with the main army right now for Creator, if he actually wants to start doing some pushing. There's a lot of heavy tech units in here. I mean, that's 3 Immortals, 1 Disruptor, and a Colossi. I feel like if all of that is together, he actually has a pretty sizable army. For some reason, he's just keeping it at home for now, preparing for a base trade that isn't really happening. We have another 10, 12 Marines being sent out, most likely for a run-by into this 4th base. 5th base is being set up for Creator. This looks like pretty sizable warping. Yeah, this is the issue for Creator, that his army really wasn't together. Right now, his army finally does join up. No, what is he doing? He's splitting up once again. So really only fighting with 30-40% of his army at a time. And I mean, it helps against the drops and the run-bys, but I feel like he had a good opportunity for a while when there was only 1-2 Liberators to actually do some real damage. And that window now has passed. He will need to be either moving into higher tech or really start thinking about harassing his opponent at a higher level. So adding DTs, adding prisms into the main base. We see a complete lack of sensor towers, no turret walls whatsoever yet. So prisms would be extremely powerful. Just Zealot run-bys would be able to help a lot as well. But Creator seemingly not too interested in any of that, as he seems to go into Tempest. Now, Tempest is a tricky unit because while you're building your Tempest, it basically means that you're going to have a very small army. Tempest very supply heavy, and Tempest work really well over a longer fight. Like if you have an instant fight, the Tempest is not the unit you really want to be having. You'd much rather have a higher Stalker count. But if you want to siege a location, Tempest can be very useful, especially in combination with Storm, Disruptors, and a higher Stalker count. So we'll see exactly how Creator attempts to use them, as there's a single Zealot, not quite spotting this 5th base, is aware that there's a turret there, so should know that something's going on. What does Percival actually know? He's not aware of this top right base, and also where the army of his opponent is. There is no Liberator range yet, which is a little bit surprising. Nowadays, of course, on the Fusion Core, a lot easier to get. No sensor towers yet either, which is also quite odd. It's kind of difficult to track movement on a map like Nightshade. There's lots of paths. If these rocks get taken down, you can really get torn apart by army rotations from the Protoss player. So a sensor tower or two, yes, exactly that. is really gonna help. Now, this 6th base is going to be almost impossible to keep, because this is so far out. And this area is already kind of difficult to protect with Liberators, but this area is going to be close to impossible. So if that isn't going to be a fast planetary, it's going to be really, really difficult. Now, Percival, very good map awareness, realized there's a base up there, managed to cancel it. Sensor tower showing us a part of Creator's army here. Actually, we'll be able to snipe all of the disruptors, Percival that is, before they settle down. Advanced ballistics is about to finish up, and this should be the trigger here for Percival to be like, alright, I think it's time for me to do something like 3-3 finish up. I have a big Liberator count. I think I should try to go for a goal here. With Liberator attacks, especially if you're fighting against Tempest, you always want to have a target. You don't just want to stay in the middle. You want to be moving towards a target. In this case, either the 5th base or the 4th base. And it seems like Percival's not quite confident enough to go for that. As he moves back, restarts Viking production. Probably afraid of those Tempests. And I can't blame him for it. Tempest can be very scary to fight against. Low worker count for Creator, by the way, who does have some money in the bank, but only 63 workers, barely managing to saturate his 5th base. Percival is doing a lot better job when it comes to the economy, right? He has some extra command centers on the way. There's a 4th orbital here. He's getting another starport, another armory for extra air upgrades. And he keeps doing these kind of weird run-bys without medevacs. Which is very uncommon. I haven't seen this in a while, honestly, but they seem to be working out quite well, doing a lot of damage either through the eco or just taking out a base here and there, some units left and right. So we have a couple of multi-prong attacks set up right now. There's 3 medevacs in this area, 1 medevac heading into the main base with 8 marines, and then there's the big Liberator army in the middle where the Tempest is located right now. They're dealing with this part of the army. There's only 2 Tempests actually on the map, so this Liberator count is very, very dangerous right now. 1 more Tempest does fall against these Vikings. Percival is doing a lot of damage here. This drop could have been microed a bit better, but gets a couple of workers. DTs are being warped in. I don't think... Oh, Percival does scan. We'll end up killing those 2 DTs most likely. A couple more zealots will clean this up. Unless Percival, I guess, just decides to pick up, flies into the main base. So a lot of care being given to this single drop, and it's being very annoying. Killed a lot of workers actually. Only 5 bases and 51 workers left here for Creator, who now realized there's a 6th base. Another orbital is on the way, and Percival is really heading into that scary, scary territory where if Terran gets there with the 5-6 orbitals, infinite scans, good map control, it feels like they can just keep expanding forever and just constantly drop you as well. Now, this army is lacking some medevacs, I do have to admit that, and also just some bio in general. All these medevacs are pretty empty. Vikings moving forward will be able to target down all of the Tempests, so no more Tempests in this army, and without Tempest, there's not a lot here that can actually deal with those Liberators. I mean, if the EMPs are proper, these Archons should be practically useless. The EMPs are properly good. EMPs going down, 1 disruptor hit does kill a lot of Percival's army, but Percival doesn't actually care, just moves forward with the remaining bio he has. Where's the rest of Creator's army? His army is so small right now. Liberators will unsiege and go back. Most likely we'll try to regroup a bit, get a couple of extra medevacs, some extra ground bio, and then we'll have another go at it. But he might not even get the chance because Creator feels so desperate at this point. He's like, alright, I don't have a 6th base, I have no workers whatsoever. He's going to basically try to max out or get to close as maxing out as is possible for him. And then from there on out try to do some kind of desperation push. There's some upgrades happening here, which I guess is the medevac upgrade. I'm not even sure, I never see that stuff. Nah, I don't play Terran. You have 3 more DTs on the way as well for either some harass or extra Archons. Good Storm's actually on top of all of these Liberators. This fight starts really well for Creator. He's doing a lot of damage right here. A lot of ground force still remains as well. 3 Liberators are left over, but this ground force might just barely win for Creator. A lot of Stalkers and Immortals just dying for absolutely nothing. Planetary will save this base. Planetary will save this base as well. 2 more Immortals are on the way, so might just be able to target this base down. A lot of DPS against armored stuff. Of course, we had one of those weird run-bys once again by Percival, taking out 6 more workers. We'll keep going. Might even be able to take out this DP. I mean, I think Percival, as long as his production doesn't die within the next 30 seconds, he should be absolutely fine. But that's exactly what Creator is going for, and Percival hasn't been doing the greatest job of keeping this alive. There's no Liberators here. There's a lot of Immortals, but there's also a lot of DTs. I mean, the only thing Creator can really do is fight, so I don't understand why he's hesitating so much. Every second that goes by at this point is a second too long. These DTs are doing a lot of damage actually. This is a wild game. I thought this was completely over in favor of Percival, but these DTs with the Shadow Stride will be able to do a lot of damage. 3 more DTs blinking into that main base, taking out a lot of the Bio. Phoenix will be able to take out this. No, won't be able to take out this Liberator. I don't like that Creator hasn't really been focusing on killing the production. That's really the only way for him to win, is to take out that production that Percival has. Percival desperately trying to kind of what do you call it, stabilize, but it's not working right now. Blinking to the main base, Immortals are being lifted in as well, and I feel like he should have just been trying to keep this ramp with the Liberators. He had way better income with all the bases. GG gets called and Creator wins a kind of miraculous game. I'm not quite sure how that happened. Down 20 workers, down 2 bases. Just like, alright, I'm gonna move across the map while I have 30 less supply. Hits the storm of a lifetime and accidentally wins the game. So, well done by him. Now, if you did like this video, don't forget to subscribe to my channel, hit that like button and leave a comment down below, as all of that helps me a lot. Thanks everyone for watching, and I'll see all of you next time for the next video.